Okay, good morning everyone. So what you've been watching me make just there is these. Now, this is the concept and this is going to work for me until this breaks, because it works perfectly fine. But the idea is, this video is kind of an inspiration video, so you can implement this idea using your own materials basically. The one thing I am going to change about this is this top bolt, but I'll explain a bit in a minute. So the whole idea behind this system that I've made here is it would work a lot better on smaller panels, because my panels are very big. They're 600 watt panels, 2.2 meters long, absolutely overkill. So if you've got more like a 300 watt panel mounted across your van, I highly recommend aluminium extrusion to mount them, or Unistrut, which I'll put a video to the Unistrut video I made up there, and also the alley extrusion one that I did for this van, which is the Luton van that I now live in, for those that are new. So the idea behind this system is I want something simple and reliable, and that tilts both ways. So a hydraulic ram, despite my roof being very hard to get to, was not ideal, because in order for them to work you have to have a high gap between the roof and the solar panel, which I don't want because my van's very high already, and that is in order for it to start lifting, it has to be at an angle. And then that only tilts one way, uses power, and has a lot to go wrong, wires, motors, everything to do with that. So I watched a video and got inspired online to basically use 4 bolts in the corners. I've got some, I think it's 30 or 40 millimeter equal angle, aluminium equal angle, and that just bolts into the aluminium extrusion, and then I put a riv nut into the solar panel and that bolts straight into there, and they're using M6. So the idea behind this is there's 2 bolts going that way into each corner at each end of each panel. So if you undo one end, the other end will act like a hinge and you can lift it up, but you can do it with either one, and you don't need hinges, you just need 4 bolts, some riv nuts and some angle. Very, very simple. Now this, if anything breaks, it's a piece of pallet wood. It's a piece of wood. You could use a piece of timber from a store and some longer bolts. It's really not that special. So if ever anything breaks or goes wrong, well, 1, it can't really, and 2, it's very simple and cheap to fix on the road, and that is the idea behind this system. Reliable, cheap, and just work basically. So obviously this you can adjust to any height. The original plan was to use some slotted shelving bar, and then that would bolt into, I'd put a riv nut in the bottom, that would bolt into the bracket at the bottom, and then you would have an adjustable solar panel because you could pick which hole to put it in. But I didn't get that done because I decided to go on the cheap and use what I already got, which is pallet wood. So what I've done is I've drilled a hole in the correct position for the bolt hole to go through the bracket, and then I've put a nut on there, and they're coach bolts. Now this I'm very happy with. This works really well. You don't have to hold the nut, you just spin that, takes it off, you poke it through the bracket and you put it on. I'll demonstrate in a minute. This top one I could do with an M6 wing bolt, and I could do with it being a lot shorter, so it only sticks out about probably 10 mil, because this I can't screw in all the way, so I need to change this really. But other than that, it's really good. So let me now demonstrate the process. Okay, so I've got a 10 mil bit here, and I'm just going to undo there. And this is nice and easy because it's on an impact driver. Of course you could use a socket or a spanner, but quick and easy. And then I precariously walk across here. So they are sided because of how they sit. So this one is this side. So undo the nut on this one. We'll put this one over there. So all you do is you lift the panel then you bolt this in the top first, otherwise it's really annoying to try and screw in, and then you stick that in the bottom hole like so, and then you get the nuts that then come out and you can put that on there, and then that's this corner up, and then you go do the other corner. So that's one panel tilted. Now to do the other one. and I'll tell them how long it takes. So that took 1 minute and 49 seconds. Not bad. So you could do it under 2 minutes per panel, so 5 minutes for the whole tilting ain't bad. You know, what I'd do with this is, you know, always checking the weather, and if it looks like a few sunny days are ahead, pick out a nice spot that has a south facing view and not in the trees. Because when it's cloudy, you go park in the trees and get a load of firewood. But when it's sunny, you want to be out harvesting that solar. Forest sunny, good for that. And then you set that up for a couple of days and it can stay like that, unless it's really windy. I wouldn't have these on over anything over 30 mile an hour. Anything really 25 mile an hour. If it gets over those gusts, I'll be like, nah, they're coming down. Because it will probably tip my van or rip the roof off. But yeah, really happy with how they look. Out of interest, for those that are interested, the length of that is 1 meter on mine, but if you wanted it to tilt more, you could. The reason mine aren't tilting more, it'd be a lot easier if I show you. So as you can see, this is starting to tilt down this bit, and then it starts to hit the aluminium extrusion. We're about 3 millimeters away at the moment, maybe 2 millimeters, and that's on purpose. That's why mine are 1 meter. What I'm going to be doing next year as a little upgrade is, because this hole's here, obviously it's pivoting there, I'm going to move this piece of angle across so this edge isn't overhanging like it is now, and then that will push it further that way and then drill the hole there. I might have to get a new bit of alley because it might be too short, but I might be able to save this one, just drill some more holes in it. And then by moving the pivot point to right over there, it will tilt from towards the end of the panel more. By moving this bolt that way and moving this bolt this way, it will move the bracket closer to the end of the panel. If you get what I mean, you get what I mean. I don't really know how to explain that, but basically by doing that I could then tilt them more, which I do want to do, because at the moment they're probably tilted nearly 45 degrees, but if I could get them more like closer to 90, even if it was like 60 or 70 degrees, you know, in between, that would be better. Because at the moment we're in 1st of September, was it 2nd of September now? 2nd of September now, and this 45 degree angle is about perpendicular. I remembered the word, I was trying to say it on Instagram the other day. Yeah, these panels are about perpendicular to the sun in September / probably March time, you know. You'll probably get good results through to October, but in December I still won't be getting the most out of the tilt, because you want it as perpendicular as possible. And that obviously means that the sun is 90 degrees to the panel, and then you're getting the most solar, because if it's coming at an angle, that's where you're losing the solar, which is why tilting gives you massive improvements. I will put in this clip from when I was at work showing the difference, because I only had one tilted and one not, and they're wired in separate controllers, so they're completely accurate. And that back panel that wasn't tilted, it was flat, was 380 watts. I tilted this one and it was giving me 500 watts. So here's the tilting mechanism, guys. I'm at work. We're working on this van, but we're just waiting for something, so I thought I'd tilt the solar, seeing as it's been a few bad days of solar and I really do need some. And the sun's over there, and that is like almost optimum angle. It's almost like, what's the word? I can't remember the word when it's not parallel, but it's right angle to. That word. Anyway, all it is a coach bolt through there, onto there, and then a coach bolt into there, which is too long though. We got 472 watts, and we got 324 watts. 370, 500. The difference in tilting is mad. Wow. Look at that. So that's an extra 120 watts in August. But I've seen people go from getting 1 amp in, so about 15 watts, to getting 10 amps in or 9 amps in, so about 100 watts. So that's like a 10 times improvement, which is mad. So tilting your panels is worth it. And as I say, if you've got some uni-strut and some angle, mount your solar panels on the uni-strut with some angle, 4 bolts in each corner. Much smaller panel on a smaller panel van roof will work a lot better, because these are very overkill. They have a bit of flex to them. That's the actual panel moving. This way, they're solid. Those two brackets keep it solid. Even without the pallet wood on the end, you cannot like move it that way. It's sturdy as anything. Literally all it does is hold it up, the pallet wood. So yeah. But I'm going to stop talking now. If you do have any questions, if I've missed anything out, I am very sorry. But I hope this video was informative to some people, and if it was, I really appreciate the subscription. I am on Patreon as well, for those that don't know, and if you'd like to go check me out on there, it's only £1, but if not, that's not a problem as well. I appreciate all your support on YouTube as well. And yeah, if you did like this video, as I say, drop a comment down below, hit the like button, and I'll see you next week.